My fellow scintillating, sparkling, stunning Toastmasters and guests, I, Milind Kudavkar, Sergeant of Arms, welcome you to the enchanting, enthralling, engrossing Gala 650th meeting of our club number 1254322 in Area 1 of Division B of District 92. Yes, your own Speechweavers Toastmasters Club, Bangalore. Toastmaster Club's mission is to provide supportive and positive learning experience in which members are empowered to develop communication and leadership skills, resulting in greater self-confidence and personal growth. Toastmasters have helped people from diverse backgrounds to become more confident communicators and leaders. I request each one of you to uphold the cardinal principle of every Toastmasters meeting, namely, to keep your audio microphone muted at all times, except when you are invited to speak. Keep your video on at all times, unless you are moving in and out of the meeting. As an encouragement to every role taker, please applaud them virtually. Role takers and speakers will consciously refrain from expressing their views on sex, politics, and religion to ensure the sentiment of audience are not hurt. It is my pleasure to introduce you all to the president of our club. Our president is a great host. He loves to celebrate every milestone event with great style. I have fortunate to be a beneficiary of his innumerable events at his home, be it at his birthday party, be it Christmas or any other of his family parties. I and my family enjoys it to the hilt. I'm sure he has something up his sleeves for this Gala 650th milestone meeting. Let's hear it from him. Please join me in welcoming our club president, Toastmaster Joseph.
Thank you, Milinji, for that wonderful introduction. You are recollecting all the past of the Christmas celebration. Thank you so much. Good evening and Republic Day greetings to each and every one of you of the Indian citizens today. A warm welcome to you all today in this milestone meeting of Speechweavers Club. I declare the meeting number 650 in order. I believe everyone is doing well from any sickness, but unfortunately some of our Toastmasters children are still having some sickness, either their parents or somebody else. And it is trying to be going from one to other. It remains to be a common factor nowadays, it seems. But as a Toastmaster fraternity club, it also takes care of the health of the members and the members' family. So I urge every Toastmaster and distinguished Toastmasters and even the guest, the current pandemic, it is more important to have a healthy based diet with moderate carbs, fats, high biological value proteins consumptions, and antioxidants, vitamins, and mineral. All vegetables like carrot, beans, and capsicum and leafy vegetables, you have to take it for making your body immune system strong. Now, today, we have more than one celebration. You know, the national celebration is so colorful. During my childhood days, it was not telecasted because there was no television. I used to watch this in the theater and the newsreel. Otherwise, it is a radio broadcasting only. And this Republic Day is a national capital of Delhi's most majestic parade of the country. For especially the spectacular display. The word republic comes from the Latin word res publica, where a state draws legitimacy from the people. I was very young in those days, and it was telecasted in 1970 in black and white. I felt elation while watching it. The parade is led by 3 divisions of the Indian Army forces in their honorary uniforms, with whose grace the Rajpath with their moving band performance, which is an awe-inspiring discipline. The armed forces are head of the military vehicles, heading tanks, missiles, and models in shining glory gives a sense of belonging to one nation. The parade showcases tableaus of various states and union so that the territories bring out a unique aspect of their culture. Behind this inspirational celebration lies the declaration of our Constitution 73 years ago. The magnificent Constitution we have framed in Nehru's words, which is lengthiest and longest, best in the world. Today, it is befitting to remember the chief architect of Indian Constitution, Baba Sahib Dr. Ambedkar, and other founding fathers in framing the Indian Constitution and pay tributes to them. It was drawn from many countries, which was compiled into our lengthiest Constitution. United States, British, Irish, Australia, French, South Africa, Soviet Union, Germany, Japan, and present Russia. The Constitution copies are preserved in Egyptian mummy showcases, which is sealed display case, ensuring that they are not damaged due to environmental exposure. It provides a comprehensive framework to guide and govern the country, keeping in view her social, culture, and religious diversity. The original text had 395 articles, but today it has 448 articles due to 100 amendments. The Constitution is now being preserved very well. Lastly, it established the main organs of executive, legislature, and judiciary, defining the powers, demarcating the responsibilities, and regulating the interrelationship between the states and the people. That is our Constitution today, and it was just a glimpse of a reminder to those who are not aware of this Constitution. Now, it is this platform, what we are celebrating today, is an important platform which I have to talk about. As a Toastmaster, We are responsible to remind our founding fathers and the great legend Ralph C. Medley. He dedicated this platform 97 years ago. That is, I was born 13 years later. It is after its inception, for learning and practicing the public speaking and the communication skills. Today, we are proud to be the part of 500,000 clubs all over the world, 500,000 members all over the world, belonging to one of the 15,800 clubs. And our India is one of the 149 countries of the world, spearheading in the vision and mission of the Toastmasters International. Talking about the knowledge that Toastmasters International imparts in each and every person, I would like to quote from Plato. Plato was an Athenian philosopher who was a student of Socrates and a teacher for Aristotle. With a plethora of interest and ideas from mathematics to political theory, his effect on philosophy and the nature of human beings has spread far and wide over millennia. I would like to have some interesting quotes presented to you. Do not train a child to learn by force or harshness, but direct them to it what amuses their minds. You may better able to discover with accuracy the peculiar bent of the genius of each. A library of wisdom is more precious than all wealth, and all cannot be compared to it. Whoever therefore claims to be jealous of truth, of happiness, of wisdom or knowledge must become a lover of books. This is what the knowledge that is given by Plato. Now in our club, we have a second celebration of this milestone meeting. It is as an event chair, I proudly present one of the super power speaker who will address this club as a keynote speaker. In his credentials, he described, he just did not fail, but failed miserably as a public speaker. He lacked in communications, so he became a chartered accountant, cost accountant, certified internal auditor. After 2+ decades in corporate, he switched over to personal development and academics. He's a human potential consultant with Procter Gallagher USA and helps people transform their lives. He's also a faculty at Christ University teaching CPA and CFA courses. District 92 champion, evaluation and table topic contest. His speech title is Novice to Novelty. Please join in welcoming the one and only DTM Mathews Verghese to address this club as a keynote speaker. Over to you, Toastmaster DTM Mathews Verghese.
They say the journey of 1,000 miles begins with a single step. It's also said that the ladder of success is not crowded at the top. Then why is it that this journey for many of us does not culminate being on the top of the ladder? Well, the reason is because not many people climb all the way up. They settle for what they have. They settle in their life, they settle in their pursuits, they settle in their goals, they settle in their jobs, and possibly they also settle in a Toastmasters journey. How do I know? Well, many moons ago, when I was 14, I stepped on stage. And what followed was this. A long silence. Now, it's fine here, but when you're facing a crowd, when you're facing a large gathering, it's very embarrassing. And somehow that incident had a deep scar, left a deep scar, a deep wound, causing me never again to step on stage for the next 25 years. Until one day I became a part of this wonderful community that President Joseph was talking of. I became a part of you, joining a wonderful club, and it's been 11 years. So today, I want to congratulate every member of the Speech Weavers Toastmasters Club for this milestone 650th meeting. That means you can go back 13 years and be proud of the legacy that you have created. And I wish you all the very best for the next 15, 20 years and even more. May this club soar high and may your members get the best of every opportunity that you're providing them. Congratulations to the XCOM as well. It's a privilege to be here this morning, this evening. Now, being in Toastmasters for 11 years, I've learned a lot, but I'll still tell that I'm still on this ladder, climbing one rung at a time and hoping that one day all of us will be there at the top. What my journey as a Toastmaster has taught me is what I'm going to share with you. Just 6 small little points. Being a Toastmasters for 11 years, the one thing that I've come to understand is it's very important to be a learner for life. I think there's some background noise. The one thing that's very, very important is to be a learner for life. I did tell you about a little incident that I went through when I was age 14. Life went on, never stepped on stage for a very long time, until one time when I was in Kuwait, I happened to read the Kuwait Times. And down in the corner, there was a classified which said, want to improve your communications and leadership skills? Join Toastmasters. I attended the first meeting as a guest. Gentle folks, good speeches, great snacks. And I joined that club. It was a wonderful journey. A journey sometimes filled with frustration, sometimes demotivation. But in all this, if you keep your goal of being a good communicator and a better leader in mind, then everything that matters or all that matters is that journey of yours. I've come to understand, having been a part of many competitions, winning a few, losing many, that your trophies, your titles, your tantrums, they don't matter at the end. What matters is how you grow as a Toastmaster. So being a learner for life is what I have decided to be as a Toastmaster. It was Eric Hoffer who said, to learn something, you need a certain level of confidence, a certain level of self-confidence, not too much, not too little. If you have too little, you think you can't learn. If you have too much of self-confidence, you'll think you need not learn. That certain degree of self-confidence is very important. Possibly that's the reason why Stephen Covey in his book, 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, says that habit number 7 is sharpen your saw. In other words, he's saying be a learner for life. No matter whether you're a newbie in Toastmasters or whether you've been here for 5 or 10 or 15 or 20 or even more, you've got to be a learner for life. Because this is a beautiful platform where you come and hone your skills of being a better communicator and leader. There's so much to learn from the veterans. There's so much to learn from the newbies. There's a video going around, and I received that a couple of days ago. It's about a person called Papa Rudy. Papa Rudy is 92 years old. It is said that Papa Rudy started learning baking just 2 years ago when he was 90 years old. And now for every family occasion, he doesn't miss the chance of baking goodies, cakes, brownies for his family members. And Toastmasters is a platform like that where you could say that it's never too late. You can learn every day, every single meeting that you attend is an opportunity for you and me to learn and grow. One is to be a learner for life. The second thing that Toastmasters has taught me is to have an attitude that will facilitate learning. The great personal development guru, Earl Nightingale, he once said, attitude is the magic word. It is the foundation of success. He says that your attitude towards the world will determine the world's attitude towards you. Now, when you and I talk of attitude, we many times talk of he or she having a particular kind of attitude. But Earl Nightingale defines it, and he says attitude is nothing but a composite of your thoughts, feelings, and actions. He says if you are able to maintain control over the way you think, feel, and act, success will be yours sooner than later. There's a gentleman by the name Viktor Frankel. Now, between 1942 and 1945, Viktor was arrested and placed in concentration camps. He lost his close family members. But he says that even when you are subject to atrocities, even when you are subject to brutality, even when you go through the most inhumane conditions, you can still find meaning and purpose in life. After he was out of the concentration camp, he wrote a book, Man's Search for Meaning. And he talks about attitude. He says, everything can be taken from a person, but one thing. The last of human freedom, he says. And that is a person's ability to choose one's own attitude in any situation he or she is in. A person's ability to choose his or her own way. So attitude is everything. As a Toastmaster, what's the attitude that you and I need to bring to the table? An attitude to learn, an attitude to grow. There was this little boy who used to travel to work, and every day he would take the same path. He would walk to the metro, take the train, and reach his office. But there was one peculiar sight that he saw day in and day out. He would see an elderly person sitting on a porch. Next to him was a little dog. And the dog would whine all the time. So one day, this boy asked the elderly person, why is it that your dog is whining and whimpering all the time? So the man says, the dog is sitting on a nail. And this boy is surprised. Why is he sitting on a nail? Why does he just move? And the elderly person looks at this boy and says, it's not hurting him bad enough. You see, the dog preferred to sit there and whine. And many a times, you and I also find ourselves in the same situation. We moan and groan and complain and compare and condemn and criticize of all the situations that we find ourselves in. But rather than doing that, having a positive mental attitude will make us just get up from the possible problems that we find ourselves in and do something to address that issue. It was William James of Harvard who once said, a person can change or alter his life by changing the attitudes of his mind. So the second thing I learned by being a Toastmaster for this long a period is that a positive mindset or a wonderful attitude is what's going to make the difference. Now you have learning and you have attitude, but there's one more thing that's very important. And that's a worthy destination. The great Harold V. Melchert once said, Live your life each day as if you're climbing a mountain. An occasional glance to the summit, he says, keeps your goal in mind. But there are many beautiful scenes to be enjoyed from each new vantage point. Climb slowly, steadily, and the view from the summit will be the fitting climax to the journey. He insists that don't fix your focus on the goal or on the summit too often. Just an occasional glance is sufficient, just to remind you where you are headed. But be in the present, enjoy the moment, celebrate your wins, because from each new vantage point, there is so much to see, so much to learn. So having that kind of an attitude, having a worthy destination to look forward to, that's something Toastmasters has taught me. What is this journey taking me towards? I've come to understand that Toastmasters is only a means to the end. It's not the end by itself. We just learn in Toastmasters, but all the application of the learnings is to be done in a place beyond Toastmasters. And that's why the trophies and the titles matter less. And what matters more is, what do you bring to the table? What do you learn? And how can you make an impact to the people outside of Toastmasters through your speeches, through your acts, through your deeds, through your thoughts, and through your visions. Talking of worthy destination, let's go back to the year 1936. A young boy of just 26 years of age had a dream of winning the gold medal. In the 1936 games, however, he could not participate because he was in the army and he held the position of a sergeant. Now, those days, sergeants were not allowed to compete. It was only the commissioned officers who had the possibility of competing in Olympics. So this boy was not able to compete, but he looked forward to the next Olympics, which was 1940. This young boy was a world-class pistol shooter. But while waiting and practicing for the 1940 Olympics, something drastic happened. In 1938, during a military training, a grenade exploded and he lost his hand, his dominant hand. Imagine his plight. But this person was not one who was to give up. He started practicing using his non-dominant hand. And in 1939, he won the Hungarian national 25-meter rapid-fire pistol event. He was getting set for the 1940 Olympics, but unfortunately, due to World War II, neither the 1940 nor the 1944 Olympic Games happened. But that was not to take him away from what he was planning and what he was dreaming for. He participated in the 1948 Olympic Games, won the gold medal in the 25-meter rapid-fire pistol event, shooting event. And he went on to repeat that feat in the 1952 Games as well. He was the first shooter to have won 2 gold medals in the 25-meter rapid-fire shooting event. This young boy was Carolee Takacs. He had a goal, he had a dream, he had a worthy destination, and no amount of obstacles would have taken him off course. It was Robert Heinlein who once said, in the absence of clearly defined goals, you become strangely enslaved by daily trivia. It means you get to doing the things day in and day out, and finally, you become enslaved by it, forgetting what it is that you are after. And Toastmasters is very much like that. So having a clear goal or a destination that we need to reach is one of the important things to be able to climb that ladder of success. Earl Nightingale had said that success is the progressive realization of a worthy ideal. What he's saying is that you have an ideal and you're making steps towards it. You're taking those baby steps, one step at a time. In Toastmasters, we could say one role at a time, one meeting at a time, one speech at a time is how we are able to how we will be able to get to that worthy destination that we have planned. Now, along with the worthy destination, there's another thing which is very important, and that is direction. Or in other words, we could say that is a definite plan of how you and I will get to where we really want to get. Now imagine you are called one day and suddenly you are told that you are the winner of a lucky draw. Now you are elated, but the caller on the other side says, look, you won a lucky draw. You will be entitled to 100,000 rupees, but you need to pay 5,000 rupees to avail this gift. Now you do the math and you say, come on, that's a steal. It's a no-brainer. I'm going to go for that. So you send off the money, 5,000 rupees, and you get coupons. There are 26 coupons that are shipped to you. You open the cover, you notice that there are, on the face of the coupon is mentioned DMart. And there are 26 coupons, one for each week. And on the coupon is mentioned shop till you drop. It means you can take each of these coupons every week to DMart, shop for whatever you want, and make the best use of it. But each coupon is valid for just 1 week. So if you miss that week, that coupon is invalid. And at the end of 6 weeks or 6 months, you could have made use of all those 26 coupons, or some or none. And you can draw an analogy with Toastmasters. Today is the 650th meeting of Speechweavers. President Joseph is the new elected president of this XCOM. They started a few weeks ago, and there are 26 weeks in this term. And each member is given a coupon that he or she can use every week. Now, if you don't use that coupon, that week is gone. You can't make the best of whatever you have. But imagine at the end of 26 weeks, if you have made the best of every coupon that you've had, taking roles, making presentations, giving speeches, well, then you would have made the best of every opportunity that was granted to you. So you and I have that coupon, but will we use the coupon unless we have a definite plan? There it was shop till you drop. Here it is speak till others drop. But it's up to you whether you will use that opportunity to speak or whether you will just let it pass. The choice is with you and me. Now that brings me to my last but one point, which is execution. You may have the best plan on paper, but a plan on paper is worth nothing. Talk is easy, execution is what's the differentiator between those who've been able to climb up the rung, every rung of the ladder, and those who are right at the bottom. You could say lights, camera, but if the action does not come, the lights and cameras is for no use. There was a preacher called Dr. Gonzalez. Now, Dr. Gonzalez was also an academician, and he was not happy with the system, the education system. So he went to his higher ups and he said, you know what? We are producing graduates, but our graduates are not employable. These are the flaws in the system. But all his suggestions, his recommendations fell on deaf ears. So Dr. Gonzalez wanted to start his own institution where he could remedy all those problems that he saw in the present education system. He drew a detailed plan and he did a costing for it, and he arrived at a figure of $1 million US. This was way back in the time, a huge amount. Now he toyed with this idea for almost 2 years. The plan was there, the idea was there, but the money wasn't, and Dr. Gonzalez did not take any action to get the money. He was sitting in his room one Saturday afternoon when something inside told him that he needs to get the money. And he decided on that day that he's going to make sure that he gets the money sooner. He called the press and he said, I'm going to give a sermon tomorrow. And my sermon will be what I will do if I get $1 million US. The next morning he woke up, he went on his knees, looked up to the heavens and said, I hope this sermon will be heard by a person who can give me the $1 million. He left his house, went to the pulpit. When he stood at the pulpit, he realized that he had not carried his script. It was too late for him to go back and get the script. But that day, Dr. Gonzalez did not speak from a script. He spoke from his heart. And after the speech was over, a gentleman from the far back walked towards him and said, Dr. Gonzalez, I believe you. I believe you can do what you said you would do with the $1 million US. Come to my office tomorrow morning. I will give you the $1 million. My name is Philip Armour. And that's how came into being the Armour Institute of Technology. You see, we may have the biggest plans, the biggest ideas, but unless we execute them, it all counts to nothing. That's possibly why Vincent Gore once said, I dream my painting and then I paint my dream. So I've learned in Toastmasters that it's good to intend to wish to be a better speaker, but unless you get down on the ground and unless you act and unless you give your speeches, it's not going to happen. I talked about Earl Nightingale, the self-development guru, and he said it beautiful. He captured it saying that 95% of the people, he says, are like ships without rudders. And subject to every shift in the wind or tide, they are just adrift. Now, all of these 95% of the people imagine and wish and hope that they will reach a rich and successful port, but they forget that they've got to cross 1,000 miles of rocky coastline to get there. It's just wishing and hoping. But then he says there are the 5% of the people, and these are the people who have taken the time to decide on a destination, to chart a course. And these are the people who will sail straight and far across the deep oceans of life, and they will reach one port after another and accomplish far more in a short duration of time than many others can ever imagine. Now, you and I as Toastmasters have that opportunity to fall in that small 5% elite group. If we can take the time to decide on what it is that we want out of Toastmasters, and then if we chart a course, and then if we set sail, if we execute, and that's when magic begins to happen. Your words can have an impact on someone's life. Your words could change the way people behave. It could give them hope. They could see light at the end of the tunnel, and they could make a change in their behavior, causing them to be empowered, inspired. That's the power that you and I can bring to the table if only we execute. That brings me to the very last point, and that is results. Well, when we talk of being a learner for life, having the right attitude, setting or creating or wishing for a worthy destination, having a definite plan and executing, that's when it will all culminate into results. There was a farmer, and a farmer put a little pumpkin in a jug. The pumpkin grew and took the shape of the jug. When the farmer broke the glass jug, he got a pumpkin that was exactly the shape of the jug. Now, it was not the fault of the pumpkin. It was the fault of the farmer who had poked the pumpkin into the jug. Now, you can draw an analogy with you and me. Sometimes we find ourselves poked in a jug, and then we take the shape of the environment that we are poked in, and that hampers our growth, our development, our learning. And you can't blame anyone else but ourselves. We can't blame the government. We can't blame the pandemic. We can't blame the vice president education, because they were not the people who did the poking. We did the poking. So if you want results as a Toastmasters, I've come to understand that we need to not poke ourselves in this so-called jug. You know, recently there was this news of Prime Minister Boris Johnson being in the news for the wrong reasons. And he's now being probed for a bring your own booze party that he threw in 10 Downing Street. At a time when there was a lockdown declared, there were a few politicians and their staff who were called for this party, bring your own booze. Well, we can never have that kind of a party in Toastmasters. but we do have a different kind of party. And in this, we don't call it bring your own booze, we say bring your own ladder. And your success as a Toastmaster and my success as a Toastmaster will all depend on the size of the ladder that you and I carry to every Toastmasters meeting that we come. And this ladder is nothing but an acronym for the 6 points that I shared today. The L in ladder stands for being a learner for life. The A is to have a positive mental attitude. The D is for the worthy destination that you and I are hoping to reach one day. The second D in ladder is for a definite plan that will keep us in the right direction so that we reach our destination. The E is the execution. And finally, the R is the results. So my wish for every member of Toastmasters and every member of Speech Weavers Toastmasters this evening on this grand occasion of your 650th meet is that all of you carry a ladder which will help you reach the pinnacle of success that all of you have joined Toastmasters for. Whether it's your communication track or whether it's your leadership track or whether it's both, may you achieve success and may your ladder, may you keep climbing your ladder, gain more accolades for yourself and your club. Thank you.
Joseph, you have to unmute yourself. Joseph, sir, you have to unmute yourself.
You're on mute.
Unmute. Not yet. Okay, now it's okay.
Hello, am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Yes, sir.
It's a great speech, sir. So all you have pointed out the fundamental thing called attitude, which is the foundation of success. It's the components of thoughts, feelings, and actions. That is what we are looking for also in our Toastmasters Club. From all our dear beloved Toastmasters to maintain this attitude so that our club can go successfully as you have narrated. It is also worth listening on some of the examples you have given in your speech. That was wonderful about the sergeant and the Dr. Gonzalez, how they have come up in life and all. It's all a very good takeaway for each and every one of us. Thank you so much. And please join me in applauding our Toastmaster keynote speaker, Thomas Verghese. Now, we would like to have question and answer session where the audience could ask questions that limited to his keynote speech, of course. As the question and answer session starts now, I would like to introduce the Toastmaster who is joining from Delhi. He's a sports management professional looking at the corporate affairs in Bhatia football schools. He's a cinephile, marathon runner, and often enjoys trips with his friends. He'll be the Q&A moderator today. Please join me in welcoming Toastmaster Bidu Das. Over to you, Toastmaster Bidu.
Climbing all the way up versus settling at a certain step. DTM Mathews Verghese, we have been hearing a lot of admiration about you as an esteemed speaker, and today we realize why. First of all, I would like to take time to appreciate how insightful the speech was for everyone in this meeting. Personally, I feel the topic is very relevant to me. I have begun taking strides in my professional career, and there is a need to grow from a place where I was considered a novice a couple of years ago. Also, within the Toastmasters community, I'm sure there are a lot of members and guests who have started their Toastmasters journey. The initial days there would be surely a feeling of being a novice. But I'm sure if we take the steps that you recommended in your speech, we all can take the journey from a novice to being a novel with much more conviction. With this, I open the forum for question and answer. We had a lot of questions pouring in from different places, from social groups to messaging apps. And I would also try to take the name of the person behind the question wherever possible. So the first question is from one of our veteran Toastmasters. It's from Toastmasters Milind. And his question to you is novice a mental block or reality? I repeat, is novice a mental block or reality?
Yeah, Milind, thanks for that wonderful question. I think it's a mix of both. See, everyone starts somewhere and therefore you're a novice in that field. And then you work your way up to get what it is that is required. Somebody had once said that, and I share this with my students, I tell them, if you're able to spend 1 hour every day in whatever is the field that you are after, in 5 years, you would become an authority in whatever you are after. So if you're interested in stocks, if you're interested, like our Bidu he says he's a novice, but I don't think so. With all his accomplishment that was announced, he's already somebody who's really accomplished. If he stays on this track and decides to do something 1 hour every day in the next 5 years, he will be in the top 1% of the subject matter experts. So that is a journey. But also on the other side, there is a mental block because sometimes we are always plowing and we are just getting ready. And all of us are culprits. And I myself find myself doing that a lot, wherein there are mental blocks that will not help us soar to the extent that we would want to. We play the waiting game. We are not willing to take that first step. We keep focusing on the summit, not realizing that what's important is to take that first step towards the summit. And that more often than not, mental block is because of paradigms. You know, paradigms is nothing but a multitude of habits. And we are all, as children, we have these paradigms that's planted in us. Some are genetic and some are environmental. What happens is then we look at lens with a different set of eyes. Some people don't have all the skills that is required, but they still go and soar high in life and create something, a life of great magnitude, while others, not so much. Therefore, there is a mental block as well. And it is your and my duty as Toastmasters or in whatever field that we are in to be able to understand or bring that awareness to the table, saying that we can create our own circumstance. George Bernard Shaw, he said, people are always blaming circumstance. He said, I don't believe in circumstance. I look for the circumstance I want. If I don't find them, I create them. In other words, he's saying that there is a mental block of sometimes looking at circumstance and calling yourself a victim. Don't do that. So we can take that step. So it's a combination of both. You can't just say that, you know, I have a mental block, therefore I can't do it. You can't say, you know what, I have learned enough, I can't do it. So while you are also working on your skills of becoming a novelty, you should also work on yourself and try and remove all those paradigms. And that is quite possible. I hope I've answered that, Milind.
Excellently. Thank you, sir.
Thank you so much. So moving on from this question, the next question is from my end. And my question is, are there challenges big when you are a novice, or the challenges grow bigger when you reach a position of novelty? I repeat, are the challenges big when you are a novice, or the challenges grow bigger when you reach a position of novelty?
Well, the challenges remain this, you know, a challenge is a challenge, right? I mean, for a baby who's on Farex, he has his or her own challenge. And when you grow up and you get all the food in the world, they have their own challenges. So I don't think a challenge is either big or small. It's being able to understand that every challenge has on the other side written on it the word opportunity. So you rightly said, Bidu, I don't know whether it was a choice of words. You didn't use the word problem, you used the word challenge. See, when we say problems, that gives a negative connotation to it. But when you say challenge, we think of it in a different way and we say, okay, what? There is a solution to that. So a novice has his or her own challenges. A pro or a novelty has his or her challenges. We need to be on our toes and address those challenges one step at a time. That's what I think, Bidu.
All right, thank you. Yes, as you mentioned correctly, I chose the word challenges because in my perspective, I was looking to overcome it. So that's why I didn't mention problem. So the third question was from today's member, Mr. Sunil. And he asks, after being in Toastmasters for such a long time, have you ever felt to try out a new profession in a professional career space and then monetize it? If yes, what are your thoughts? If not, what are your thoughts? I repeat, after being in Toastmasters for such a long time, have you ever felt to try out a new profession in professional speaking and monetize it? What are your thoughts? If yes, and if no?
Yeah, Sunil, thank you for that question. Yes, I sometimes do think about that, to be very honest, and I do a bit of it, but I haven't monetized it as much as I would want to. So if you have any ideas, I would love to hear that. And I seek that kind of an advice to how to go forward. But to tell you a little about my background, what I said at the outset, what President Joseph did mention, that I never used to speak. So I was a shy kind and a very introverted kind of person. So I got into the finance profession. I'm a chartered accountant, cost accountant. I've got 8 or 9, certifications, and I was a finance professional. 5 years ago, I quit my job and made a transition from being a finance professional to now getting into academics and coaching. So I am a consultant with the Proctor Gallagher Institute that helps me reach out to people and help them understand as to what is it that stops them and what they could do in order to move from where they are to where they want to be. And at the same time, I'm no longer a person with a desk job. I now get an opportunity to address beautiful young minds, and that gives me immense pleasure as well. So I have made a transition in my career from being an auditor and a finance professional to now being an academician and a coach. And I do go around to corporates, if I'm called, to give some motivational speeches, which also happens on a one-off basis. But I haven't kind of, left everything to do that. That's always an option, and I'm not closing that door at all.
Thank you. I hope Toastmaster Sunil, you got your answer.
Yes, sir. Thank you, Review, for answering. Thanks a lot.
Thank you, Sunil.
DTM Mathews, for now, we have this many questions, but if some more questions come, we obviously know where to reach out to you. I enjoyed how you weaved your entire Toastmasters journey with the lessons from books like 7 Habits from Highly Successful People and Man's Search for Meaning to highlight your points from the proverbial ladder: learners for life, attitude to learn, destination, definite plan, execution, and results. I am looking forward to you coming again and delivering one more session with so much more insights. But for now, I would like to conclude this session and give the stage back to our president. Thank you.
Thank you.
It's a great question and answer session. I thank all those who posed their questions, really satisfied their quench in the knowledge of this great speaker. Let us applaud once again for the knowledge of enticing question and answer session. As we all know, the meeting will not be complete without the entertaining table topics. The interesting table topic session will be conducted by our Toastmaster. In this session, we allow our non-Toastmaster guests a chance to make impromptu speech by giving them a topic. Besides guests, we also allow our budding Toastmasters to learn and practice impromptu speeches. The table topic master today is a person who is a doctorate degree in management, and presently she is on the lookout of a search-based job and hoping to proceed with a startup. Her hobbies are to interact with people, like to watch the culinary show to create a habit of cooking healthy food dishes for the family. She is also interested in reading articles that enhance her knowledge . We will invite our Toastmaster, Smita. Toastmaster Smita, over to you.
Thank you, President Joseph, for such a nice introduction. Good evening, Toastmaster, fellow Toastmaster and guest. Today, I will be playing the role of table topic. As we all know that it enhances the skill of impromptu speaking, as well as it enhances the capability to systematize our thoughts and speak of. So in that case, each and every participant would be given 1 to 2 minute slot. After 1 minute, the timer will show the green card. After 1 minute 30 seconds, the timer will show the yellow card, and after 2 minutes, the timer will show the red card, and 30-second grace period would be given to each and every participants. Guests are also allowed to take part in this table topic session. So should I start? First topic goes to Manish Gupta. Are you ready to participate?
Yes, please.
Okay. Who is your favorite national leader? I repeat, who is your favorite national leader? Over to you, Manish Gupta.
Good evening, everybody. Who is my favorite national leader? My favorite national leader is Maho Motra because she dares to speak. At this time, very few people can speak bluntly because of fear that they can be in trouble, they can be in soup. I love to listen her speech. And she speaks spade to spade. She's not like other political leader who will beat around the bush. That's the reason I love her, I adore her. And like this, maybe I am not successful, that is something else. Because she has nothing to lose. She has no weakness. Nowadays, every leader has weakness, and those who have weakness, they remain mum. The city where I live, all the politicians in opposition don't dare to speak against the government. The reason is because they know they have weakness and they can be in trouble, and the government can find their minus point and trouble them. In entire India, we can count, there are only few leaders, those who can speak bluntly at this time. And she's one of them. And apart from that, she is highly educated. Once I heard about her interview. Before that, she was a banker in England, and she made a lot of money. That amount of money which she has, she can live her life happily, entire life. So she doesn't have to worry about her financial problems. So she doesn't have to take the path of taking bribe or going in the wrong direction. That's the reason she can speak, and this type of leader we need in our country to grow. Thank you. Over to the Toastmaster, please.
Thank you so much, Munish sir. Next topic goes to Miss Pragya. Are you ready, Pragya?
Yeah.
Okay. So your idea about one of the important traits that a national leader should have. I repeat, your idea about one of the important traits that a national leader should have. Over to you, Pragya.
Thank you, DTM Smita. How many of you believe that there is a major stark difference between managers and leaders? Most of the time, the people we have been selecting for the country are somehow managing our country. But when we look back to them, none of them are leaders. Because a key trait that we look for in a leader is to strengthen the people he is leading. That is one trait which I always look for in my leaders, or if I am trying to lead any organization or any place. You need to find out the qualities that exist in the people Although a bit of it is being done, I wouldn't take names because that makes me biased towards a few people. But time and again, there have been few areas which have been focused on, but we have never found somebody who had the guts to speak the heart out. We have never found people who were ready to take a stand, being away from the politics. We could never find people who would handheld the nation and tell it, I know I can make it better. If one of you today sitting in this particular room has that one trait, the thing which is stopping all of us is, why would I get into a dirt of politics? How many of you in this meeting room today can raise your hand? I am ready to be that leader for the nation. How easy it is to question, right? But we, when we even have that trait, don't even believe that we can do it. We don't want to get into it and do it. So my dear friend, there are many people already existing with this particular trait of knowing the qualities, the power, the strength of its nation, hand-holding people and taking the nation forward. But are you, as that leader, ready to take that step forward? If no, think about it again. Are you trying to be a leader? If not, be one, stand there. We are ready to be with you. Over to you, TTM.
Thank you so much, Pragya. Arya Teja, are you ready to take the chance? Arya Teja, are you ready to take this topic? Okay, next topic goes to Manju Kartha. Are you ready to take chance?
Hello, good evening. Actually, this is my first session, so I'm a bit, I'm not ready actually.
Okay. Next topic goes to Anita Sharma. Anita Sharma. Okay, Vijaya Sharma, are you ready to take the topic?
Sorry, Toastmasters Smita, not today. Maybe sometime later.
Okay. Vandana Raghavan, are you ready to take the topic?
Yes, I'm a little sick, but then yeah, I'll try my best.
Okay, tell us about why India is the best country.
A lot of people ask me, they don't understand why someone who grew up in Dubai wants to live in India. They're like, you have all the luxury all there. You have all the comforts. You have probably, more freedom being a woman to walk out late, go out, go to pubs, go anywhere, wear whatever kind of clothes and feel more safe. But they ask me, how come you're different and why do you want to stay in India? Then I asked myself, I just could never wrap my head around. And I would remember my childhood and I would just stand in the balcony because if you've been to Dubai, you would know that it's absolutely beautiful. But there is something very plastic about it. There is something that's not very real that we have in India. For me, I'm so attached to nature that I need to be around trees, birds, butterflies, around beautiful skies. I'm not saying that Dubai doesn't have beautiful skies, but there was some kind of attachment that I had, especially when I would come and spend 2.5 months of my holidays every year. I just would walk around in my relatives, little courtyards, following little ducks and chickens, and we had cows back then. And so my heart always comes back to being here. Now, did I experiment in my adulthood, try and work? Yes, I did. I actually moved in my 30s and tried to work again, but I just was not happy. So I'm back here now in God's own country. Before that, I spent a lot of time in Bangalore. Everywhere I see, there are trees. You ask me if I feel safe. No, I don't. There are a lot of times that I want to do a lot of things, but I stop myself because I'm worried about my safety. I'm worried about my daughter's safety. I'm worried about my family's safety. There's so many things that we can work on. But there is the sense of being that it's my country. There is the sense of being that the laws of the land apply to me as a citizen, which is not the same when you go to any country. You're always a guest there. You're never a citizen there. Even if you take up citizenship, even if I consider moving abroad, there'll always be a part of me that'll be tied to India that makes me happy, that makes me feel at home. So home is where the heart is. So I'd choose India any day over any other country. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Vanna. Next topic goes to Angela. Angela, are you ready?
Yes. Yes, I'm ready.
Your memorable patriotic
Yes, I'm
day. Your memorable patriotic day. Angela.
Can you say it again? Your memory.
Your
question again.
I again repeat, your memorable patriotic day.
Okay. Yeah, my memory to 80, right? Well, I think 80 is an age which is old enough to know everything. It means you know your school stage, your marriage stage, and working stage, and everything. And then you are a very knowledgeable person nowadays because you are 80 and you are old enough to look around the world and know many things. I think in that age, we will be very satisfied that we have done a lot in our society. We have contributed our best to work on the society and contribute a lot to the society. And it is time and it's the age to receive what we have sown. And then we will look after our children or grandson or grandchildren. Yes, and life is very precious because we know that when in the age of 80, we'll be very proud enough because we have good health and we have still have aspiration. We want to do something for our next generation as well. So life is precious. I think whoever reach the age of 80, then I congratulate that you have a health life, you have achieved a lot, and then you become, if you are a Toastmaster member, you become a DTM, what we call Distinguished Toastmaster, or we just having fun with the DTM, don't touch me and don't talk to me. I think this is a very good age to live. Thank you very much. Time's up.
Thank you so much, Toastmaster Angela. Next topic goes to Anjali. Anjali, are you ready? Vidhu, are you ready to take topic? Okay, next topic goes to Toastmaster Sushma. What is your best patriotic song and why? I repeat, what is your best patriotic song and why?
When it comes to patriotic songs, there are many sung by many famous singers. The one which I liked is the Rahman, Rahman, sung by Rahman. That is, I don't remember that it's a very famous and the renowned one. Jai Ho, that is the one which is my favorite. When I hear that song, it really goosebumps, and then patriotism, not only with me, any Indian, if they hear that song, no doubt that that develops spontaneously, automatically, even if a person is not patriotic also, if they should, when they hear that, I mean, no doubt in that. And another thing is, another song is that is like which many long back, there are many singers sung by many singers, that is ये हो सुर मेरा तुम्हारा, so that is the one that was very old one. So that also I like, sur mera tumhara something, because exactly I should not spell it in a wrong way, but that is also very old one. That also I like. Many people are there who are very renowned from their respective fields. That also, that was my another favorite one. And sur mera tumhara, so that was the one. So which shows diversity of India and cultures. Almost all that song covers India. That is the one. Yes, many song. My favorite is Jai Ho. Thank you for the wonderful topic. Over to you, table topics master.
Thank you, Toastmaster Sushma. Next topic goes to Pulkit Mittal. Next topic goes to Pulkit Mittal. Pulkit, are you ready? Okay, next topic goes to Adarsh.
Yes, I'm ready.
Okay. Your view on children should be taught patriotism.
Patriotism is one of those things that comes from within you. It's something that you build up as you grow as a person. It's something that you learn from the people around you. It's something you learn. You don't learn that from a book. You don't learn that from the people around you. You just don't talk and learn these things. These are things that these are things that are ingrained into your head when you're a child. And these are things that you learn as you see. Personally, for me, I'm not the most patriotic individual in the world. When I say that, I don't mean to say that I don't feel patriotic towards my country. I feel patriotic towards the entire world. And when I say that, I mean to say that I care about each and every individual that we have across this planet. To me, each individual is unique. Each individual characterizes something. And I believe that all of us together must appreciate that after coming together. Today, we have people from different parts of the world. We have people from different parts of the country. I can never go on and on about India when there are people from different parts of the world here. I'm supposed to celebrate this world that we have here. We have this one life to live. We have this one life to appreciate. And during this process, it's important that all of us come together and have fun. Because when I was a child, I remember interacting with people of all kinds. Even to this day, I interact with people of different cultures, diverse planets, diverse countries. And when I do this, I get to learn a thing or two about them. And when I see that, I see how beautiful it is. I see how beautiful their side of life actually is. And that is something that I share with each and every single one of you. I go to WhatsApp and I put it up on all our WhatsApp groups, our Speechweavers WhatsApp groups, and I tell people that, hey, this is exactly where I was today. And I enjoyed every bit of it. Is patriotism something that all of us learn? No, it's not something that you learn. It's something that you see for yourself and implement in your life. And on that note, I'd like to hand it back to our table topics master, Toastmaster Smita.
Thank you so much, Adarsh. Next topic is for Nitin. Nitin, are you ready?
Okay, for Nitin, I can take the timer.
Yeah, sure.
Patriotism is essential for nation building. I repeat, patriotism is essential for nation building. Over to you, Nitin.
Thank you for the table topics, Toastmasters Smita. Yes, patriotism is for everyone is a mandatory thing, I think, for building a nation. Because each and every nation have their own citizens, and citizens outside the world. So if the citizens which are already included in there have their patriotism, so that all the intellectuals, all the top grade people to the lower and the middle grade people, if they are having patriotism, that will help the nation in a way that they pay their taxes they in a very good way, and that will be financially. They'll also get included into social works so that they'll help the lower sections of the world. And it is that we can say patriotism even encourages children in order to learn about our history also, where we can share all the good things in our history. That will be a learning lessons for many of them. They'll get interested to learn, and even that they'll get interested inside of applying all those. Patriotism in children and even in adults is one more thing that is very important for a nation to be built itself, because even the politicians, if they contain patriotism in themselves, there will be no corruption from the side of politicians to the side of businessmen. So what I think for building the nation, it is that patriotism is a very mandatory thing that everyone should contain. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Nitin. Next topic goes to Vidhu. Any message that you want to convey to your country? I repeat, any message that you want to convey to your country.
It's difficult to convey one particular message to the country without having the context of why I would like to convey the message. But if I have to take one particular situation, being a sports fan, I would take a context of representing sports as something to say your patriotic slogan, because one of the key controversies that happened in the recent past was one of the sports person chewing something during the national anthem, and that spiraled into questioning his patriotism. So I would say not to take patriotism in some form of casual wheel and pick out points which does not reflect one's personality, and put it in a form which puts a negative coherence on his ability to represent a particular nation. Saying that, I would also say that there has to be some level of tight rules about how one can represent his patriotism towards a nation. And within excluding that of the context, if some activities are seen, then the questions over his character should not be raised. So with this, I give the stage back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Vidhu. Now I want to conclude and give it back stage to President Joseph, sir. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Toastmaster Smita. Kudos to you for this fabulous session. I also appreciate all the participants who have really spoke about impromptu speech by their own attempts, and give us a great applause to all those who have spoken on the table topics as well as the conductor of the table topic. I would like to give one more quote of Plato. Bodily exercise, when compulsory, does no harm to the body, but knowledge, which is acquired under compulsion, obtains no hold on the mind. That's what Plato said. Before conclusion of the meeting, it is our club honor to thank the chief guest, DTM Mathews, Verghese, and other distinguished guests. For that, I would like to invite a person who is qualified MBA, and he is an entrepreneur with specialist in insurance, 18 years of experience in the industry. He is passionate about protecting people's assets, and he is very much fascinated in driving motorbikes. He has a small family with 2 lovely daughters. Let us invite Toastmaster
Am I
Over to
audible?
you, Toastmaster Suraj.
Thank you, President. Distinguished Toastmasters and dear guests, it's my privilege to propose the vote of thanks on behalf of the esteemed Speech Weavers Club. They say joy is the simplest form of gratitude. I take this opportunity to thank our chief guest, distinguished Toastmaster Mathews Verghese, who has honored us with his insightful thoughts on the topic Novice to Novelty, which would actually help us in all our endeavors. Sir, if I remember your speech and think about the top two takeaways for us, I would like to give an analogy of the biking trip, with a bike on the road. So here I would like to say that a clear direction is very important. From your speech, what we understand is a clear direction of where you want to go. What is the location? Okay. Why? And how will you get there? All these things needs to be very, very clear. And once this is clear, the second most important aspect that we understand is to have that magic fuel or the magic word, which is going to accompany or be the fuel in this entire journey, is going to be that magic word called as positive mental attitude. So if you have a clear vision of what you want to do, what you want to be, where you want to go, and how fast you want to go, and accompanied by a positive mental attitude, then I think this journey is really going to be very eventful and successful. I would also like to thank all the members of the District 92 officers, and I would sincerely thank my fellow Toastmasters who have actually enacted their roles in making this function very enriching. Finally, I would like to thank our president, Mr. Joseph Felix Benedict, who has meticulously planned and organized the entire event. And finally, I would like to thank all the distinguished guests who made this event very, very memorable. Once again, I thank you all. Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, Suraj, for this wonderful vote of thanks. Now, I would like to have some announcements to make. In the meanwhile, the voting master can make an arrangement for the voting on the chat. The first thing is, we are going to have what is known as the club contest. For that, our Toastmasters has to be well prepared. In order to have a good preparation, I encourage all the Toastmasters to have their mentors attached to them, choose their mentors so soon so that they can make you qualify for the contest. That's number one. Number two is we are going to have what is known as the interlink meeting on after 2 weeks of time from one of the countries, Malaysia, where the Passion Advanced Toastmaster Club is going to have a combined meeting with our Speechweavers Club. That was accepted, and it was a great achievement for me for acceptance. Having said so, today I hope every one of you have really enjoyed the meeting, enjoyed the celebration, because the knowledge-based keynote speaker's advice was so great, we cannot forget. Instead, we will follow by taking the ladder. Now, I would like to say that if the voting is ready, voting master, if the voting is ready?
Yes, sir.
Please announce
I have received total 8 responses. So everyone, please make your votes on the link.
Can you announce the voters?
Okay. So I have received your responses and I have the result for today's only category, best table topic speaker.
Exactly.
And the winner for best table topic speaker today is Toastmaster Pragya. Let's have a huge round of applause for Toastmaster Pragya.
Congratulations to Toastmaster Pragya for the wonderful achievement in the impromptu speech. Thank you so much, Pulkit, for this one. Now it is time to adjourn the meeting. I, as a president, adjourn the 650th meeting. Thank you once again for each and every one of you and wish you a grand evening and a good night to one and all. Thank you so much.
Congratulations, Speech Weavers, for the 650th meeting.